Hi guys, it is me, ChazzaHD, and welcome to this race reaction for the German Grand Prix. And I have just about calmed down after throwing all these images together that I'm going to show you and all the graphics. And yeah, what a race that was. And I've just noticed that it's now thundering down with rain at Hockenheim. If only the race had started 30 minutes later, we would have some end to the German Grand Prix, even better than it was here. But yeah, what a race it was. And if you didn't watch the watch along, or you didn't watch the race and you've only just got back from wherever you came from and you wanted the results, then here they are. There you go. Lewis Hamilton wins the German Grand Prix from 14th on the grid. Bottas second, Raikkonen third, Verstappen fourth, Hülkenberg is fifth, Grosjean sixth, did well there, Perez seventh and Ocon in eighth, good there for Force India. Ninth is Ericsson, great there by Ericsson. Brendan Hartley scoring points, that is fantastic. Magnussen 11th, Sainz is 12th with that penalty. Van Dorn is 13th, Gasly 14th, Leclerc 15th, Fernando Alonso last of all. I don't know how he ended up there. It was probably because of the mixed conditions, I think we could say. And then your retirees are Lance Stroll, Sebastian Vettel, as you can see in the thumbnail, Sergei Sorokin and Daniel Ricciardo. But before we get on to all the teams, I just need to say a few things. One, if you want to join our Discord community, the link is in the description to join the ChazzaHD F1 Discord server. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. That is in the description also to my Twitter bio, where you can follow me to keep up to date with all of the YouTube stuff going on my channel. And also, do not forget to subscribe. Either do it on the bottom right of the screen right now, or click on my channel name, or go to the description and click the link to my channel there. And like and comment on this video. And one thing I want to mention, there will not be a Q&A at the end of this race reaction like there was on the old channel, because from now on, every Monday night, the day after a race, so for example, tomorrow night, I will specifically be doing a 30-minute Q&A. Just me and you guys ask questions and I give you answers for 30 minutes straight. So that is what's going to happen tomorrow night. So no Q&A today, unfortunately, but I will, when I'm going through the teams, I will read out what you guys are saying in the chat and, you know, stuff like that. So with that all done, let's go into Mercedes, who, it could not have got any better for them. A 1-2 at Hockenheim, a home race for the team in terms of the company, not really the team, because obviously they're based in Brackley and I can't remember the other place where they make the engines, but they're based in England, so it's not a genuine for the actual team there, a home race, but in terms of the company it is. And yeah, fantastic, a 1-2 finish. Lewis Hamilton from 14th, he made his way up to 5th place, was showing some great pace on the soft compound tyres, pitted for ultra softs about 3 or 4 laps before the rain came. And despite, you know, the difficult conditions, whatever came at him, he dealt with it. Came through it. Sebastian Vettel had his crash, and because of Bottas and also Kimi pitting, he got into the lead of the race and then defended brilliantly after the safety car restart from Valtteri Bottas. It was aggressive, but it was fair. And yeah, won the Grand Prix. He was a bit lucky today, let's be honest. I think he was a bit lucky, more to do with Bottas and Raikkonen, not with Vettel, because what Vettel did, that was Vettel's mistake. But I think he got a bit lucky with that incident where he was going to pit, but then stuck back out on the track. So I do think he got lucky in a sense, but I'm not really criticising him for being lucky, because at the end of the day, just like Vettel in Australia with the virtual safety car, you have to be in the right place at the right time if you want to pick up the big points, and he's picked up a race win because of that. So well done to him. Valtteri Bottas second. I do feel a bit sorry for him, because I think in the first few laps he wasn't really that good at all compared to Sebastian Vettel in the lead, but after that he was nice and consistent, had some good pace. Got past Kimi Raikkonen in the chaos just before Vettel crashed. And then with the delayed pit stop he had, 15 seconds I think it was, that really did cost him. That really did cost him. But, you know, he's been so unlucky this season, I don't think it's really a surprise anymore. But yeah, there you go. Mercedes 1-2. And I've just checked, Mercedes do indeed now lead the Constructors' Championship by 8 points. And Lewis Hamilton leads the World Championship, the Drivers' Championship, by 17 points. Going into the final race before the summer break next weekend in Hungary. Let's see what some of you guys are saying about Hamilton and Bottas and Mercedes. Lots of you talking about Charles Leclerc, interestingly. Leclerc wasn't in the points before the pits anyway, I think. I don't know what's going on. Hopefully Bottas and Kimi win a race this year. I think Bottas eventually will. Probably it will come at the end of the season. I don't think Kimi will, though. I just don't see it. It was the team's fault for the strategy. Yeah, I'd agree. Let me just see if anyone else is commenting about Mercedes. Lots of you talking about Charles Leclerc, interestingly. I don't know why, but yeah, I can't really say anything about Mercedes. Anyone have any thoughts about Mercedes? I think Bottas can win in Russia again. Yeah, that's a plausible place for him to win. He was better than Hamilton there last year. Kimi win at Spa? Maybe. He will do well there, but will he win? That's a question for another time, I guess. Bottas will win the last race of the season. He did last year. That would, again, be a very plausible place for him to win. Mercedes put team order on Bottas. That's another thing I need to talk about. I agree with what Mercedes did because, yes, Bottas is out of the championship because of bad luck, but Hamilton is in the championship fight and Bottas isn't, so they had to secure, one, a 1-2 finish, and two, Hamilton's championship in terms of building the best gap they could. So they had to do it. I understand why people disagree with that. But if you look at it from the team's perspective, which is the only perspective you should look at it from, really, it makes clear sense. It makes absolutely clear sense. So I absolutely agree with Mercedes and what they did there. Do you think Bottas could have taken P1? Yeah, I think he could have. He just needed some more luck today, I think. And he would have got it. You think Hamilton is favourite to win 2018 World Championship now? From the start of the season, even though people I think have criticised me for this, I've stuck with him. I still think Lewis Hamilton will win the World Championship this year. I still think he will. Even though Ferrari at the moment, it's clear to see, do have the fastest car, despite what happened today. They do have the fastest car. I still think Hamilton will win the championship. And the reason why will now be analysed along with Ferrari, because I'm going to get into a slight bit of a rant. There you go, Sebastian Vettel into the barriers, crashing out to the German Grand Prix in the lead, and I have to say, he bottled it. He had a 9 to 10 second lead, did not have to push massively hard because, again, he didn't have a Mercedes, charging up to the back of him, and by his own admittance, he was pushing too hard into the corner and made the mistake. And this race does remind me a lot of Singapore 2017, where Vettel did not score and Hamilton took the full 25 points. So I think for Vettel, this is a very bad moment in his championship. And I'd have to say, I think this is, for now, until something else happens in the last few races after the summer break, I think this is a clear turning point in the championship, because Ferrari had the fastest car but blew it. And with the point I was saying about Hamilton, why I think he'll win the championship, this is why. Because no matter how fast Vettel and Ferrari are, they will find a way to blow it. They will find a way to mess it up, just like they have done today, Bahrain, China, Baku, Spain, France. I could go on. They have blown a lot of points this year, especially with Sebastian Vettel, through mostly team and some driver. For example, today with Vettel and also France with Vettel, the rest being the team. That's why I don't think they'll win the championship. They do have the fastest car, it's clear to see that. But one, just because you have the fastest car, it doesn't mean you're going to win a championship. It doesn't give you a divine right to win it. And two, Ferrari blow it quite a lot in terms of their chances of winning races and taking the lead of a world championship. So I do not think they'll win it because of those reasons. And also to analyse the whole team orders thing, again, I agree with it because Vettel was faster. He was on a better strategy. They had to do it. I understand, again, why people are angry and people saying, oh, Kimi should leave because of this. He knows his role. He is the number 2 driver. He isn't stupid. He knows he's the number 2 driver. And he played that role, I think, well until you know, the whole Vettel crashing stuff happened. So, yeah, that was Ferrari's race. One absolute disaster. First and third on the grid. Vettel retires because of a crash, which was his fault. And Kimi Räikkönen finishes where he qualified. Let's see what some of you guys are saying. Who the better driver, Lewis or Vettel? I think Lewis is the better driver. That doesn't mean Vettel can't win the championship, of course, but it's still very close as well between the two. 2005, a good example. Yeah, exactly. For example, that year, Kimi Räikkönen in the McLaren, they were the fastest package, but they didn't win the title because that team just completely blew it. And Alonso won it because he kept it together, and Renault, in terms of reliability, kept it together. So that, yeah, it's a great example. It was so weird. Vettel went so slow into that corner, yet he still crashed. I think what happened was he overshot the corner, and then he kind of realised that he was on the wrong part of the track. And then when he was trying to correct it, he was already off the track and into the barrier. He knew he made that mistake before he hit the barrier. He knew it. Why does this whole team order thing have to exist? For the teams, it has to exist because to get the best result, you have to have this in place. Because if you don't, then you're going to have your teammates crashing into each other, which is exactly what you don't want. Do you think Ferrari is currently being haunted by not switching Vettel and Raikkonen? I don't think they are, but that will play a factor when we come into the last few races of the season. There's no doubt about it. They should have switched him in Austria. Vettel has not learnt from his mistakes from previous years. Yep, I agree. I don't know with Vettel, to be honest. He has made these kind of mistakes since 2010. He has blown races quite a few times before. He did it Canada 2011. He was Singapore 2017. Turkey 2010. You know, this isn't new. This is just the way Sebastian is. He, most of the time, is fantastic, but there is a part of him which gets hot-headed and makes mistakes, very pointless mistakes for a driver of his quality. Hamilton, no matter what you think of him in terms of his mood, and I do have problems sometimes with his attitude, he will not make a mistake. He will not. He will not drop his ball. He will leave it all out there to, you know, so that no one says, oh, he didn't push hard enough, or he could have been quicker in this stage. He always leaves it all out there. Sebastian leaves it all out there as well, but he makes mistakes, very pointless mistakes. Baku 2018 and Baku 2017, yep, that's another one. Could Raikkonen have won the race if he wasn't ordered to let Vettel pass? No, I don't think he would have, because if that had happened, then Bottas and Hamilton would have just cruised up to the back of him. I think Bottas is doing a really good job. He should get this win. He did well today. He just, again, got unlucky, but nowhere near as unlucky as other races. So he can't complain, I think, too much, because with the amount of luck, or sorry, bad luck that he has, you know, today was minuscule in comparison. But, you know, we'll move on from Ferrari. That was their race, and go on to Red Bull, who had a quiet race, to be honest. Max Verstappen finishing 4th. I don't think he could have done any better. If the race had started a bit later, I think he would have been in for the win in the wet conditions, but it didn't. He switched to inters when it started raining initially, but it was a clear mistake, so he went back to the dry tyres and finished in 4th. There was nothing really spectacular about his race. He tried to get past Raikkonen at the start, did not, and dropped back behind him. Daniel Ricciardo, on the mediums, which were not working well for him, he got up to 6th and was doing all right. And then he had a reliability issue and retired from the race. So not good there, especially since he changed his, energy store, MGUK, something else as well. I can't remember exactly what it is. But he changed parts of his engine so it could be fresher for Hungary, and then he has this type of problem, so that is just really not good. But yeah, a quiet race, I'd say, for Red Bull, and in Hungary, I think they'll be right up there for the race win, no doubt about it. I don't see how they won't be dry or wet. Again, yeah, quiet race. Nothing really much to say. Red Bull are so unreliable, more than McLaren and Renault. Definitely more than Renault. I wouldn't say McLaren because Van Dorn did have some kind of issue out there on the track. Stupid decision to put him on the Inters. Yeah, I agree. They shouldn't have put him on the Inters. It wasn't raining hard enough. It was only raining at one corner. They should not have done that at all. Nothing to say about Red Bull. They were there. Yeah, that's a good way of describing it. Might rain in Budapest next week. It doesn't really matter if it rains or not, because if it rains, then Red Bull's advantage will be even more. So it doesn't really matter if it rains or not. It does matter from Ferrari and Mercedes' perspective, because it will change their races. But for Red Bull, it will just make them stronger. Max was screwed by tyre strategy. Yeah, a bit, but I don't think he would have held on to third or anything like that anyway, because his Renault power unit is severely down on power compared to the Mercedes and Ferrari. Rick may take penalty again if something serious broke. That would be so harsh if that happened, but I don't think he will take a penalty. I don't think he will, but hopefully he doesn't. Will Ricciardo get penalties for Hungary? Hopefully he doesn't again. We'll see, though, once we get to Hungary. But let's move on then from Red Bull and go on to McLaren, who, in the dry conditions with Fernando Alonso, they were doing all right. They were creeping up to the points. They were on the edge of them, but then when the rain came, McLaren was just a disaster. They kept falling off the track and had no pace, which is surprising because I thought that McLaren was supposed to be one of the best chassis on the grid. Clearly not. So they finished where they did, and yeah, poor race from McLaren, and they continue to fall down in the Constructors' Championship. No real surprise there, and yeah, McLaren should just give up on 2018, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, what is there for McLaren to achieve this season? Nothing. Their car is desperately slow, and when it rained, their car got worse, not better. So, yeah, McLaren they were poor. I mean, I'll give slight credit to Stoffel Van Dorn for not being last of all the runners and actually getting an okay finishing position after having an issue. But overall for McLaren, that was a disaster. See what some of you guys think about McLaren. McDonald's or McLaren, what's the difference? What is McLaren's budget? I don't know what it is, but it's definitely more than Force India, Haas, Sauber, Toro Rosso. Well, maybe not Toro Rosso because they are owned by Red Bull, but you know what I mean. They have enough money to be ahead of Haas and Force India. That's not an excuse to be behind those two. No excuse at all. 2017 McLaren chassis was good. Their chassis now is bleep. Yeah, it's clear to see. It's clear to see. And also, I think if they kept with Honda and actually listened to Honda and let Honda put the engine in their car the way they wanted to, not the other way round, maybe McLaren would have been up there with Hülkenberg and Grosjean, at least. Got to think of that as well. Do you think Van Dorn should stay at McLaren? Yes. Yes and no. Yes and no. Yes, because the car is so poor that he's not able to show you guys or me how good he actually is, because the car, again, is so poor. I mean, if Alonso can't do well in this McLaren, what is Van Dorn going to do? Let's be realistic. But then Van Dorn, since Canada's been poor, so there's definitely an argument for him being at McLaren, and there's also an argument for him not being at McLaren. So I can see both sides of the argument, but I would keep him at McLaren because I think he deserves at least a car that is competitive enough where he can score points. Like he was at the start of the season when the car wasn't great, but it was competitive enough for points, that's for sure. What happened to K-Mag? we'll get onto Haas soon enough. They didn't have the smoothest race though. Let me just put it that way. Honda is better than Renault. I'm not sure they are. It's close, but I'm not sure Honda is better. We'll see next year, won't we? When Honda have their engines in the back of the Red Bull. But let's move on from McLaren and go on to Renault, who on one side of the garage, they had a good race. Nico Hülkenberg and his home race, finishing 5th. That's his highest finish at a home race for Hülkenberg. And also, I think that's his highest finish in a Renault since he joined at the start of 2017. So I might be wrong on that, but I think that's his highest finish since he joined Renault. So good job there by Hülkenberg. He deserved it. His pace in the race was good. It was just as good, if not better, than the Haas's in normal conditions. So I think he deserved that, and I'm very happy that he got the 5th place that he thoroughly deserves and is pulling away in 7th place in the Drivers' Championship. So good to see there. Carlos Sainz, though, he blew his chance of points for the team because of him overtaking under safety car conditions when the safety car just came out. That's poor by him. That's a poor mistake. He'll realise that and hopefully come back better from it. But excluding that, good race for Renault because, again, a power circuit like this is, and it is, let's be honest, they have finished 5th and grabbed a lot of points for their Constructors' Championship fight with Haas and Force India. So a good race there for Renault, and I think Hungary, they will have definitely the 5th fastest car, maybe the 4th fastest. We'll see once we get to the Hungaroring. Hulk smash. Sainz many points behind Hülkenberg right now. He is, and that's just because Hülkenberg has been better than Sainz this season. I am a big fan of Carlos Sainz, but I have to admit, Hülkenberg's been better. He has. It's clear to see that. Hulk was lit. Yes, he was. How will the midfield finish in the Constructors? After today, I think still Renault will finish 4th. Haas 5th, Force India 6th, McLaren 7th, Sauber 8th, Toro Rosso 9th, and Williams last. I think it's pretty clear to see it's going to be something like that. Maybe Force India, if they improve, can get near to Haas, but I think it will finish like that. I think we can all agree Driver of the Day turn 6. Yeah, that definitely threw up some surprises in the race, didn't it? Who will be Renault's challengers in Hungary? Haas, because of how quick the Haas car has been since France. So I am expecting it to be Haas and Renault to be the 2 fastest midfield teams once we get to the Hungaroring. But we'll move on from Renault and go on to Force India, who I thought today did very well. And even though, and they're kind of like Mercedes, you know, in terms of the way they are, they might not have a car that is quick enough to the point where they want it to be, but when it comes to the race, they maximise everything and get the points that they deserve, I guess, for their hard work. So great there for Force India. I thought Perez was fantastic all weekend to get into 10th in qualifying in a car that I don't think was quick enough to do that. And then in the race to, you know, perform overtakes and get his way past some cars and get up to 7th is brilliant. Brilliant there. And Ocon in 8th. I do think he benefited a lot from the safety car because he was on ultra softs at the start for a long time and was falling down the field a bit. But yeah, he had to be like Hamilton, right place, right time to get those points, and he was. So good race there for Force India. Nothing really much to say about them. I didn't really get to see them during the race and during the watch along. They were there, you know, driving well, good pace, and got the points I think they deserve as a team. Let's see what some of you guys think about Force India. Sergio Perez was my driver of the day, I'm being honest. I will get into my driver of the day at the end of all the teams. I will get into that. Good pace from, or good race, sorry, from Ocon and Perez. Yep, it was. Haas was crap in Monaco, so I don't think they'll be good in Hungary. that will definitely play a factor, but I think they've made a lot of improvements to that car, so they might not be that bad, but they won't be as good as they were here, Silverstone, Austria, France, you know, tracks like that. Driver of the day, not Seb. Yep, definitely. Good double points for them. Good race for both. Force India have made a lot of progress from Australia. They were probably second worst at the start of the season. I don't think they were second worst. They were probably third worst or fourth at best. Worst. I think now they're still not great, but I'd say sixth fastest. And definitely competitive enough to get solid points in the race because they've always had good race pace. So it's not really a massive surprise, you know, that they've been able to do this. Where will Force India be at Hungary? Could they be fourth? No, they won't be fourth. They'll be probably edges of the top 10. Maybe they can sneak a car in the top 10, but I think it'll probably be 11th and 12th or 11th and 13th. Something like that, which ain't bad because the Force India car isn't going to be suited to that track. Right, guys, I'm back on again. This happened during the race watch. I don't know what's going on today. My internet's not at its absolute best for some reason, but I'll try and get that sorted for Hungary. But yeah, as I was saying, 11th and 12th for Force India would be fine. Force India could be fourth. Remember Ocon in Monaco, yeah, but Hungary and Monaco do have their differences, even though they are similar tracks in a way. And yeah, we'll move on from Force India. Again, sorry about the stream dropping off there, but my internet is not at its absolute purest today. Let's go into Williams. Sorokin, bad start, dropped down to 16th, and then when the rain came, both drivers retired. Sorokin with a blown engine, I think, and I think Stroll may have had a similar problem. But, yeah, that's about it. I'm just going to move on from Williams. Go on to Toro Rosso, who with Brendan Hartley scored points. That is just fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I'm very, very happy for Brendan because he does get a lot of stick. I do give him some stick at times because I do think he can be very, very slow in, say, qualifying trim. But I think this weekend he's conducted himself and he's done his race so well. So, again, yeah, it's just, I'm so happy for him. And hopefully he can do this a bit more between now and the end of the season, because if he, you know, starts performing really well, there's no reason why he couldn't be there for another year. There's no reason, but I don't think personally he'll be able to do this many times for the rest of the season. But yeah, good race from him. Pierre Gasly had a very messy race. He started at the back, was swapping positions a couple of times with McLarens and Saubers. And yeah, just in general had a messy race and finished, I think, 15th or 16th, something like that. I can't remember exactly. But yeah, Toro Rosso, good race with Brendan Hartley scoring points. Gasly, not that great. And they move on to Hungary, where I think Toro Rosso will be very competitive. Very competitive. I wouldn't be surprised if they scored points in Hungary. See what some of you guys are saying about Toro Rosso. Hartley is a good guy, but he is heading back to sports cars. Yeah, most likely. Hartley was one of those drivers who benefited from other drivers' strategy gambles. I like Hartley, such a nice guy. Yep, I do. He's probably one of the nicest people in the paddock. Him and Charles Leclerc are so nice. Good job, Hartley. Gasly had a great race because he went on full wets. That was ridiculous, that decision. The track was mostly dry and he was on full wets. If he made that decision, then he is not good at telling wet conditions or reading them. No way. No way at all. Can't believe he went on to full wets. What were they thinking with full wets? Again, I have no idea. If it was his call, then he doesn't know how to read the conditions. And if it was Toro Rosso's, they don't know how to read the conditions. Gasly is so inconsistent. He's sometimes very good, Bahrain really bad races, most other races. That's the one thing he does need to work on, especially in qualifying, I think, is consistency. Because like in Monaco, I thought he was... I think I selected him in Monaco as driver of the day. But since then, he's not really done anything. He was in the points in Austria until his tyres fell away at the end. But yeah, he just needs to improve the consistency, I agree, especially in qualifying. We'll move on from Toro Rosso, though. A quiet race despite them scoring points with Brendan Hartley. And go on to Haas, who you can see there with the melee of Grosjean and all those cars behind. That was just how tight it was at the start. It was all going so well. Kevin Magnussen was 7th. Grosjean was 9th, I think, behind Hülkenberg and not too far behind Hülkenberg. And then when the rain came, I think Haas just panicked. The drivers panicked. They had a couple off-track moments. Pitted for intermediates when it wasn't wet enough for intermediates. And blew what should have been a 7th and a 9th or a 7th and 8th or something like that. Disaster for Haas. And even though Grosjean finished in 6th, it should have been way more than that, because Haas were, all weekend in terms of pace, were clearly best of the rest. And in the race, Magnussen was leading, say, the Division 2 of cars quite handsomely. But then it just went all wrong after the rain, and yeah, I think they just panicked. Pressed all the panic buttons they could find, and ended up with a 6th and an 11th, when it should have been, yeah, a 7th and 9th or a 5th and a 6th, something like that. Just, again, they've blown it there. Blown what could have been 10 extra points. Just not good enough there from Haas. But going into Hungary, their car still looks decent. I don't think they'll be as good at Hungary as they were here, but there's no reason why they can't be best of the rest once again, because they have made a lot of upgrades to that car and it is performing really well. So hopefully, from their point of view, they'll actually be good in Hungary. Let's see what some of you guys are saying about Haas. K-Mag got robbed. Yep. Engineer Hartley's in the points. Gazzy, I cannot believe. Magnussen and Grosjean had to part of the race where they were part of the race where they were good. Magnussen, I thought until the rain was very, very good, very, very good. But just what happened happened. K-Mag's race was a disaster. Oh my god. It's a shame they have a good car and have lost a lot of points due to mistakes. But they do this all the time, though. That's the problem. They continue to lose points because they keep making mistakes. At what point are they going to stop making these mistakes? That's what I want to know. Because it's going to cost them 4th in the Constructors, which they should have already with how fast the car is, sorry. Magnussen was best of the rest, but Magnussen tends to struggle when it's raining. Yeah, he's not that great of a wet weather driver, but Again, I do think Haas panicked a bit with their tyre choice, which did not help him, nor Grosjean, nor the team. And again, what happened happened. So sad there for Haas. And let's go on to the final team, Sauber, who with Marcus Ericsson, even though Charles Leclerc is the one on the screen, I'll get onto him in a moment. Marcus Ericsson was absolutely brilliant in today's race. The strategy he was on worked out as best as it really could have. Thoroughly deserved a points finish. Was quick all through the race. Was always challenging to get past people and always racing with people. So, again, I'm really happy for Marcus. He thoroughly, thoroughly deserves it. But for Charles Leclerc, how would I describe it? Trying too hard, maybe? I think you could say. I mean, I don't think in the dry he was that bad. I thought he was doing just about okay. But I think at times, again, he was trying a bit too hard. Kind of a bit too hard to impress. Trying to get past people. But that's just the way it goes. You're not always going to be great in wet conditions, dry conditions, or any conditions. You're going to have races where you're not good. Just look at Sebastian Vettel and what he did in this Grand Prix today. It's not always going to go your way. So I'm sure he'll bounce back in Hungary and put in a performance which wows us all again. But yeah, Sauber scoring points again. And I would not be surprised if they passed McLaren in the Constructors. I would not be surprised. I wouldn't. See what some of you guys are saying about Sauber. Ericsson did a decent job, but he was also lucky with other teams' strategy mistakes. He was, but again, like Hamilton and Ocon, you got to be there. When it all goes wrong for the others, you got to be there in the first place, and he was, because the pace he was showing was so good. So I understand he was a bit lucky, but again, as I've just said, got to be there to take full advantage. Did that piece that came off Vettel's car have any effect on him going off? I think it did have an effect, but I don't think it was most of the cause. I still think that is Sebastian's fault, and he's basically admitted that. But I don't think you can doubt that there is at least a small part of that which is down to that piece falling off. I don't think you can doubt that at all. Sauber is better than McLaren Renault. Yeah, no doubt about that. Not at that speed. Apparently Hamilton has been summoned by the stewards. That's interesting. Do you reckon Lewis will get a pen? Well, who knows? I'm kind of interested to know what's going to go on with this summoning of the stewards for Hamilton. I don't think he'll get a penalty, because you know he's won the race, and I don't think the FIA in that way are going to try and ruin the championship. But this is the FIA, so we don't know. They might actually do that. They might actually give him a penalty, which would be massive for Vettel, but yeah. Just a conference, no pen. Oh, okay. Well, if you guys hear anything, then please put it in the chat. Penalty for what? It would be a penalty for crossing back onto the track dangerously, I think, would be the penalty. Or crossing the white line and then not, I think you're not allowed to cross the white line into the pit lane and then come back on. I think once you cross the white line for the pit lane, you have to stay in the pit lane. So it would be understandable in terms of the rule book why they would give a penalty, but I don't think they will, because again, they won't want to ruin the championship. Hamilton should get a penalty. Haven't drivers done that before though many times? I think Kimi Raikkonen did it once at the Nürburgring in 2007, but I don't think he was penalised because he actually made an attempt to pit and fell off back onto the track. He wasn't deliberately going back onto the track from coming from the pit lane. It was a deliberate decision to go into the pit lane, but it was so slippery on dry tyres that he could not avoid going back onto the circuit. Do you think he should get a penalty? I don't know if it's an actual rule or not. That's the thing. I don't know what their application of the rule is. If it is a rule, then he should get a penalty, yes, but with the way the FIA have been making their decisions as of late, I don't think they'll give him a penalty, because he'll get, he's in the championship. So I'm just reading that. Yes, he got 5 seconds. Did he actually get 5 seconds? Or is that not confirmed? Let me just going to head over to Twitter and see if that's actually real. Just having a look for you guys to see if... Yeah, so he has been called to the stewards over the incident. Right. He has been called to the stewards. So, well, I don't know what's going to happen with that. I think he should get a penalty because I don't want him to win the championship, lol. If you're a Vettel fan, then cross your fingers that he gets a penalty, but I don't think they will give him one. I think this is just one of this, just making sure that he understands next time that he can't do it type of things. I don't think that he's actually going to get a penalty. I would be really surprised if they gave him a penalty. Yeah, I would. A Danish expert said he should not have a punishment according to the rule book. Well, if it's according to the rule book, then, you know, he shouldn't get a penalty. But I don't know the exact ruling. I think, because I don't actively search for that rule, I think you're not allowed to come back onto the track, but I don't know for sure, and I don't know the actual punishment. But again, I don't read the rules every day of my life. Kimi Raikkonen was given a 5-second penalty at Baku for the same thing. Yeah, he was. I'm a Vettel fan. I was so sad when he crashed. My dad was cheering, though. It was a very dramatic moment. I think that is a massive championship moment, Vettel crashing, because I think at the time of the season where it happened about midway through the race, so exactly midway through the season. That could have an effect for a couple races, especially if Hamilton can try and finish ahead of Sebastian in Hungary, then it's going to have an effect going forward, there's no doubt about it. Because momentum in F1, especially in a championship battle, is very important. If you can get momentum on your side with a quick car, then you're going to win the title. I'm just reading some tweets to see what people are saying, whether it's a penalty or not. Martin Brundle's tweeting about it. This is Martin Brundle's tweet. So Lewis told to push like crazy, even from the last corner to the finishing line, despite his lead. Team may well have been anticipating a 5-second penalty. There's an overwriting sporting code over and above F1 sporting regulations. Team will need to prove, I can't read the second word, but force something to avoid a penalty. So they'll have to prove something so they don't get a penalty. But right now, that is the breaking news. By the way, if you're just joining us, Lewis Hamilton's race win at Hungary is currently Hockenheim is currently under investigation. My mind is already going to Hungary after this race. It's currently under investigation. Do you guys want me to stay on until this is decided or not? I'm happy to stay on until we hear something about this, but if you don't mind or care, then I'll end the stream soon in the next 10 minutes or something. But if you want me to stay on until it's decided, then yeah, I'll stay on. A couple yeses there. Sure. The season refuses to give a break except Spain to Canada. Please, yes. I won't be doing a Q&A again because I'll be doing it tomorrow. Specifically, tomorrow night, 3 hours after my race review. By the way, don't forget, race review for, I'm going to say Hungary again, Hockenheim. Race review for Hockenheim will come out tomorrow at 4 PM British summertime or UK time. And then 7 PM UK time, so 3 hours later, I will go live for a Q&A where you guys ask questions and then I will answer them. We'll go through anything we've missed from the race, anything like that. Or where can I read if you end? Just go to Twitter, and I would say go to the Formula 1 Twitter and also Sky Sports F1 Twitter, because they'll definitely be all over this. When will the Q&A be? Tomorrow, 7 PM British summertime, UK time. So if you're in, I don't know, Germany, France, that area, then it'll be 8 PM Central European time. If you're on the East Coast of the United States, that'll be 2 PM. If you're central in the US, 1 PM, then I think 11 AM if you're on the West Coast. But yeah, those are the only time zones I'm afraid I really know. Who is your driver of the day? My driver of the day, and I want you guys to put your driver of the day in the chat after I say who mine was. Marcus Ericsson. Had good pace all weekend, especially in today's race. Deservedly got points. I think was actually unlucky not to get past Ocon in the Force India. He did have a go, but didn't get it pulled off. So I'm going to go for Marcus Ericsson. I just think he did a great job today. How many subs are there on this new channel? 450, I think, now. I will actually get onto that when we end the stream, whenever that is, depending on whenever this decision is, when it comes through. Lewis Hamilton, as much as it pains me to say, I don't think he's driver of the day. He did well, and he's definitely up there, but I wouldn't call him driver of the day. 456, right, so we're doing good. We're doing good, guys. Vettel, seriously, I thought he did great until that crash. Sorry. If the race had finished before he crashed, then yeah, I would have gave it to him, but he crashed, so yeah, can't give it to him. I informed myself and read that the pit entry rule is not active on every track because of the different shape of the entries. That makes complete sense. And the activeness is announced in the driver briefing of the weekend. That's just one massive grey area, isn't it? Oh, this could get controversial. Do you think Mercedes should have called team orders? I completely agree with what they did. I think it was all fair and just. I understand why people wouldn't agree, but they have to preserve the best result for the team, which would have been a 1-2. And if Bottas had kept racing Hamilton, Bottas could have easily hit him. I don't think he would have, but they cannot risk that. They left it quite late to call him in. They did. They did. I felt as though I needed to give it to Vettel. Just trying to look on Twitter to see. Well, on Mercedes' Twitter, they have been. They have come to the stewards. So currently, Lewis Hamilton is in the stewards' office. He's been in there about 10 minutes because the meeting started at 6:15 local time or 5:15 if you're in the UK. So let me just look. No, nothing new at the moment. So I think we should hear something soon. And as well, if he gets a 5-second penalty, then he will finish second behind Bottas. So Bottas will win the race if he gets a 5-second penalty. But if he gets a 10-second, which I don't think he will, but if he gets a 10-second penalty, then he'll finish fourth. So this is very important, no matter how you look at it. This is very, very important. What does, yeah, drive of the day, that's what it means. So JB just helped me out there. Driver of the day, Grosjean, he's up there as well. I'd have to say, yeah, he's up there as well. But I just think Ericsson, more for the surprise, really, of being up there. So yeah, guys, I'll stay on until this decision is announced because I don't want to come off and then 5 minutes later it's announced that Lewis Hamilton's been given a massive penalty. So I'm just going to stay on and then go through whatever the decision is. I was not expecting this much controversy from one race. I wasn't ready. How's the new hairstyle of Ham? I don't think it's good, but it's not my place to say. He can do whatever the hell he wants with his hair. I don't care what colour or what his hair looks like, as long as he, you know, provides us exciting racing. I could not care less what he looks like. Yep, still just waiting for the decision. Lots of people saying about the Kimi Raikkonen penalty back in Baku in 2016. Pendulum swings. It has today. Even if Hamilton gets a 5-second penalty and finishes second, the pendulum in the championship has completely swung straight over to Hamilton. But it's swinging all the time. It was in Hamilton's hands coming into Austria, and then it went to Vettel for a couple of races, and now it's back to Hamilton. It's just going to keep being like this until eventually it gets to the point where obviously someone cannot be caught. I do think the championship will go down to Abu Dhabi. I don't think it'll end at, you know, US or Mexico. Thanks for staying on with us. No problem. Just wait for the decision. What would the penalty be for? I missed the race, unfortunately. It'd be for going into the pit lane and then rejoining the track dangerously, I believe. That's what it would be for. Is this the best race of the season? I don't think it is. I'm trying to think. Probably the 4th best race of the season. 3rd or 4th best race of the season, I'd say. I think the best race, I might as well just go through it now whilst I'm waiting. The best race of the season, I think, was Silverstone, then Bahrain, then Austria, then China, then Germany. So what? Germany's 5th then. Germany 5th. Still a good race, but again, there have been some great races this season. Just shows you how great it's been. Germany 5th, and then Baku in 6th, and the rest I don't care about because they weren't good races. Best race so far was Silverstone. Yep, it was. If they said it was okay in the driver's briefing, then it wouldn't have been called to the stewards. It might not be for a penalty, though. They might just be giving him like a reminder of, please don't do this again, you know, so you don't break the rules. Like a reminder of not to break the rules. Bahrain was intense, yes it was. Hamilton yesterday, no, I've lost the championship. Hamilton today, who cares about yesterday? Hamilton now, tension. Absolutely. Have to see all the races again. You definitely should if you haven't seen all of them. Go on the Formula 1 YouTube or something like that, or just go somewhere to find them. At least a short highlight reel of the races, because there has been some good ones this season, but also some terrible ones. What are we expecting from Hungary in terms of how exciting the race is? It won't be as good as this race. No way. I think Hungary has the potential to be as boring as Monaco. We need close racing between the top 3 teams, which I'm not sure we'll get, and also some wet weather. Whenever it rains at Hungary, it's always crazy. Always is. Just looking at Twitter to see if there's any updates. No, in the FIA, they'll, I don't know, disqualify Hamilton or something ridiculous like that. Hopefully none of the stewards are biased to anyone. What are you guys? Monaco worst race. I can't even believe I'm saying that. This will continue. This is what we need to watch, not one-sided dominance. This season has been fantastic. I think this has been the best season since 2012. Definitely. Almost impossible to overtake in Hungary. Yeah. This is the thing, if you're fast enough, if you're much faster than the car ahead, you can pass. But if it's similar speed, then no, you cannot. You need to be, I would say, 6 to 7 tenths of a second faster to get past. Stewards are biased to Verstappen. I wouldn't say that. I think they can be a bit harsh on him, to be honest. Canada was way worse than Monaco. Monaco was the best of the boring races. I don't know if you consider France boring, but I didn't. I didn't think France was boring, but I didn't think it was good. It was just a meh race. It happened. You know, it's one of them races. It just happened. Still waiting. Still waiting for all it is just articles saying Hamilton's been summoned to the stewards, so nothing official as of yet. France was the worst exciting race. Yep. Ferrari international assistance. Well, hold that back until we hear what the decision is here. And I think if you watch the watch along, I called it out during that. I said, oh, he might get a penalty for that. Because my initial reaction is, you can't do that. But I don't know for sure. We'll see what happens with this. Do you think he deserves a penalty? No, I don't think he does, because I don't think it's his fault. He didn't do it deliberately. It was his team cocking up the strategy a bit, because they told him to pit, then ordered him to stay out, and then told him to come in again when he already gone back out onto the circuit. So it's not his fault, so I don't think he deserves a penalty. But it's about whether he should get a penalty or not. It's not about whether he deserves to get a penalty. Right, whilst we're waiting, just to let you guys know, if you want to join my Discord server, the Chaz HDF1 Discord server, go down into the description and join there. We've got about 50 people in so far. It would be fantastic for some of you and all of you to be a part of the community. It really, really would. Follow me on Twitter for updates about when I'm going to be uploading, when I'm going to be doing all kinds of stuff. follow me on Twitter. That is also in the description. And don't forget to subscribe. Either do it on the bottom right of the screen or go down in the description. And there'll be a link to my channel there. Or click on my channel name to get to my channel page, and then you can subscribe from there. And also, if you do not know, from now on, we've completed it this weekend, guys. It's been fantastic. From now on, at every race weekend, we'll be doing a qualifying and race watch along live whilst qualifying on the race is happening. So if you weren't sure of what was going on with the new format on weekends, that's what's going to be happening. We've already done the qualifying and race watch along for Germany. You can go back and watch those if you would like. So yeah, next weekend, if you missed out this weekend and next weekend, make sure to come here for qualifying so you can watch qualifying along with me and everyone else. And same with the race. Do it as well for the race. It was very fun today to interact with people, watch the race, scream my head off about Sebastian Vettel retiring and overtakes and stuff like that. So if you want to do that, then come around next weekend and we'll have a blast. There was pretty good midfield scraps around pit stops before the rain. The midfield was just very close all weekend long, I would say. Still waiting for this decision. I hope this doesn't take forever. I mean, if it's a slam dunk penalty, just announce it. If it's not, then just say, I am sorry, but I have to go. No problem. Hopefully you enjoy whatever you're going to do, and hopefully I'll catch you tomorrow for the Q&A. What was your most dramatic moment of the season so far? Mine was the Red Bull crash. That's a good question, actually. What's the most dramatic moment of the season? Put in the chat what you think is the most dramatic moment of the season from your point of view. Mine... Oh, that's difficult. That's a really good question. Maybe China with the Ricciardo, passing Bottas and stuff like that. Maybe that. Also that Red Bull crash. Silverstone with Vettel passing Bottas at the end. Yeah, last 10 laps from Silverstone. That was... Actually, yeah, that's what I'll go with. Silverstone, those last 10 laps were... mega, so tense because there was so much riding on it, but with what's happened here, that's kind of put that all away as useless, especially from Sebastian Vettel's point of view. Or Ricciardo overtaking Bottas, China, yeah, that's kind of what I meant. That pass was very tense, very close. Guys, what's been your race of the season? Mine is Silverstone. Mine was, you're saying yours was Hockenheim. It had a glimpse of an all-time favourite F1 race. Yeah, today's was definitely a good race, but I'd have to say still Silverstone is the best race of the season. Ericsson's fault was my favourite dramatic moment. That was very funny. Mine is Baku. That was a good race. It was very tense at the end, so that's definitely a shout. Sorry, someone on Twitter just saying breaking news. There's no news from the stewards yet. Mine is Bahrain. I thought Silverstone was a bit overrated. It was still good. The mid part of the race wasn't that great, but you have to say the start and the end of it was... so good. Close racing, exactly what we want at every race weekend, and something we've had a lot since Austria. Oops, by the way, my favourite all-time race was Spa 2008. That was a chaotic race, to say the least. That was the most chaotic end to a race I think there's ever been. With the amount of passing and cars going off the track and overtaking. Oh my god, Hamilton has got a... Well, I haven't seen any news in a minute, so you're probably joking. 0 second time penalty. As well, if you're watching this once it's gone up as a recorded video, comment down below what you think of the race and what you think of the team's performances. If you're a fan of the certain driver or team, comment what you thought of their performances. And if Hamilton does get a penalty, then comment down below what you think about that. Sorry that we're stationary on one picture here, but we're basically just waiting for the decision whether Hamilton will get a penalty or not. And I don't want to come off without knowing for sure. But we're not sure yet what's going on. He's being investigated, but there's nothing more to it right now. I'm just searching to see if there's any... Nope, still no news. By the way, in the Drivers' Championship, the top 6 is Hamilton, Vettel, then Raikkonen. Bottas is 9 points behind Raikkonen in 4th, and Ricciardo's only 1 point ahead of Verstappen in 5th. So very close between Bottas, Raikkonen, Ricciardo and Verstappen. It's basically like a small little 3-tier championship in the top 6 there between Hamilton and Vettel, Bottas and Raikkonen, Ricciardo and Verstappen. And then you have Hockenheim 7th, Alonso 8th, Magnussen 9th and Perez in 10th. As we just continue to wait. FIA Race Director, this is just a tweet from Chris Medland. FIA Race Director Charlie Whiting points out that Hamilton didn't break the regulation regarding the pit entry bollard in the event notes. Confirms Raikkonen's penalty in Baku was a different incident based on event notes, not international sporting code. Well, what's happened then? So is he going to get a penalty or not? Why does Mother Nature hate us raining FP3 and directly after the race? If that rain that happened after the race happened midway through, the race would have been red flagged. It was so heavy. It was so bad. It would have been a guarantee you'd have had half the cars in the barrier. So it would have been a red flag until it, not dried up, but calmed down a bit, if it ever did. It should rain at more races, spice it up. If it rains next weekend, we'll get a great race, I'm sure of it. Because when it rains at Hungary, if you don't know your history, then yeah, go watch Hungary 2006 or Hungary 2011, Hungary 2014. There has been some classic wet races at Hungary. Hamilton demoted to first. It should... I'm trying to just read the chat. And Bottas has been promoted to second. I think I think Ferrari has thrown away about 3 wins this season. Yeah, I'd say 3 wins, definitely. China. Well, actually, no, not China, because I think they would have. I think Vettel would have been passed anyway by Ricciardo because he was on much fresher and softer tyres. So I'd say Baku and here, they definitely cost themselves a race win. Come on, where's this news? It's just there's a quote from Charlie Whiting. He was going to come into the pits, but he actually didn't come into the pits. He could get anything, a reprimand, a 5 or a 10-second penalty. Right, this is getting controversial now. So, according to Charlie Whiting, he could get just a reprimand, a 5-second penalty, or a 10-second penalty. So, this is just spicing it up now, because hearing from him that it could be 5 or 10 seconds, then, wow, could be in for something controversial here. 10 seconds would be harsh. If you're going to give him a penalty, 5 seconds. And I'm not saying that so he doesn't drop down the order too much. I'm saying that because that's the least amount of penalty that it should be. And it should not be any more than that. It should not be a 10-second penalty. Here's a message for Charlie. Bleep off, honestly. Sebastian will be praying for a penalty here. Spain, they cost Vettel a few points. I think they cost Vettel second. I think they cost him second there. I'd say this season, when it comes to Sebastian Vettel, this is the amount of points they've cost him. They've cost him 8 points in China. Actually, not 8 points in China. 11 points in China. 13 in Baku, so that's 24, and then another 6, so that's 30. We won't count what Vettel's mistakes have cost, but just the team, so that's 30, and then Austria should have let Vettel through, so the team has cost Vettel 33 points, and Hamilton leads by 17, so if they got it absolutely bang on Ferrari, which of course they're not going to because they're human, then Vettel would be leading the championship by 16 points, but he doesn't. And if you include Vettel's mistakes, then he's cost himself, I think, 30 points as well. So they've both done equal damage. Still waiting. 3-second penalty, maybe. If they give him that, then it's clear what their intentions are. Their intentions are to give him a penalty, but not make him lose the race. Baku was Vettel's mistake. It was his mistake locking up, but he was put in that position because of the team's mistake. They should have kept him out on the track. I think, for that race, and try and hold them off. But Charlie Whiting says the likely one is on the lower end of the scale, right? So it is likely they're going to give him a reprimand or a 5-second penalty. Who's your favourite F1 related YouTube apart from Chaz HD or Chaz HD F1? F1 Word. I think we all know why. Because, I've been on the channel before and, yeah, good content. Welcome. First time watching. Hello to all you guys if you're all tuning in. I know some of you guys are from the old channel and you're just tuning in, and yeah, this is my new channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do. Been very busy this weekend, not as busy as I normally am though. Currently watching F1 stream alongside this. Okay, Into the Barrier. Yep, I think he's the funniest F1 YouTuber, Into the Barrier. I think that's pretty clear. Oh, come on. Just wait for this news. I don't know why it takes so long. Is Lewis Hamilton getting 5 seconds? We don't know. He might do. He very well might do, but I don't know. Into the Barrier. Come on. Just please give us some damn news. Oh yeah, that's another thing. Whilst we're waiting, I'll get into. Right, Santino Ferrucci and Arjun Maini. Someone asked, I can't remember your name, but someone asked during the race watch along what my thoughts were, and I said I'd cover it in here, so I'll do it now. Santino Ferrucci is an absolute disgrace to motorsport and to, well, himself, his country, everything. What he did was despicable. Driving with a mobile phone, hitting his teammate on purpose, questioning his teammates. Just anything after what's happened in the past few races in F2 is an absolute disgrace. And with what he did, he should not only be banned from racing, he should be banned from driving on the road. He is an absolute disgrace to motorsport. What do you guys think about Santino Ferrucci? Your thoughts on order to Raikkonen letting Vettel ignore if you've already talked about it? Yeah, I've already talked about it. I thought it was fine. Yeah, what do you guys think about Santino Ferrucci? What do you guys think about him? I'm sure some of you have some strong opinions. Did he get dropped by Haas? I don't think he has yet. He has been dropped by his F2 team Trident. But that's it so far. We haven't had any news from Haas that they're going to drop him. I think they will, though. Haas still won't do anything, or still didn't do anything. Yep, They should drop him. He's a disgrace. Absolute disgrace to motorsport. He is the worst example of poor driving. Or the best example of poor driving. Still waiting. Let me just show that, even though it's got a swear word in it. If you drive and put another person at risk of their life, knowing you're doing so, you shouldn't drive at all. Absolutely agree. You should not deliberately hit another driver. No, there is no justification. I don't care if you're a fanboy of a certain driver or any team or whatever. There is no justification to deliberately hit another driver. None at all. As an American, Santino Ferrucci is a bleep who is embarrassing this country. Yep. I like Santino's hair. Do you think they should let Bottas and Lewis race? No. Because Lewis is in the championship fight and Bottas isn't. So they have to support Lewis now. There's nothing they can do about it. I mean, Valtteri, if he'd not had the bad luck he's had, then he would be in the championship fight. But it's just the way it goes. Michael did that. I was thinking you're talking about Michael Schumacher. Yeah, again, he did that. Vettel did it. No justification at all. And the only reason I think Ferrucci should be banned from motorsport, and I don't think the same with Vettel, for example, is because Vettel did not racially abuse Lewis Hamilton. He did not drive in the car with his mobile phone. He did not fail to attend the stewards meeting. Do you want me to go on? It's not even comparable. Not even comparable. Can we talk about Leclerc's perfect pirouette? Yeah, it was perfect, wasn't it? He spun it, kept his foot down and got going again. Pretty much a bang-on Formula 1 spin. As we still wait. Hamilton is speaking in 10 minutes' time, so the hearing with the stewards is over. That's by Luke Smith on Twitter. So, yeah, right. 10 minutes' time, we will get a news of the decision. So I'm going to stick around for another 10 minutes or 15 minutes, see what the decision is. And, yeah, we'll discuss it. If there's no penalty, then I'll just end the stream. And then if there is, then I'll talk about it for a few minutes and see what some of you guys think. Is it over for Vettel now? Will he ever win again? He'll definitely win again. There's no doubt about that. But this year, it's still on because I think the Ferrari is faster right now. But if he keeps blowing races, then no, he's not going to win he's not going to win the championship. He's not, because he did this last year. Blew the championship. What has been your overtake of the season? That's difficult. I say Ricardo Bottas in China, that's one. Vettel Bottas in Silverstone. Vettel Hamilton at Austria. Yeah, I say those are the top three I can think of right now. I hope it's nothing or 10 seconds as a Kimi fan. But what, for everyone watching right now, what has been your overtake of 2018? What's been your overtake of 2018? I'd probably say Vettel at Silverstone, because such a high pressurized moment they had to get right, and he did. Still waiting for... So yeah, just under 10 minutes time we should find out if Hamilton has a penalty or not. Do you think Daniel is under pressure from Max now? Yep, definitely, because Max has improved and cut out those mistakes. Vettel and Bottas at Silverstone. Abu Dhabi predictions: Hamilton, Bottas, Vettel. Let's not get into predictions for Abu Dhabi. Jesus Christ, let's wait a bit. Ricciardo and Hamilton in China. Yeah, that was a good one, but I don't think it was as good as the Bottas one because Bottas came across very late and made it very difficult. But Daniel is such a good overtaker. Any Daniel Ricciardo overtaker is a good one for me. Ricciardo or Verstappen for Hungary. I'm going to go Verstappen in Hungary. Ricciardo is good around there, but I think Max will have enough pace to beat him. It will still be very close, no doubt about it. I was disgusted by Max's errors, but he's flying now. Definitely. It's good to see because it was getting annoying, the amount of mistakes that he was making. So, right, still waiting. Still waiting. Have you seen the movie Rush? Yes, I have. I have it on DVD. It's a good film. I don't think it's a great film, but it's a good film and accurately describes what went on during that time. Good actors. Yeah, good film. Do you reckon Daniel will have a new contract announced next week? I think by the time we get to Hungary and when my Hungarian Grand Prix preview comes out, I think he will have signed the new contract. I think I wouldn't be surprised if he does it today or tomorrow. Wouldn't be surprised because Hamilton and Bottas have signed up for Mercedes and Ferrari are not considering Ricciardo, so might as well stay at Red Bull should Daniel Ricciardo. I'm stress eating a mango waiting for them to decide if it's a penalty or not. I'm getting a bit annoyed with how long it's taken, if I'm being honest. I just want them to just say if it is a penalty, if they say it's a penalty, then I will do a video on it on Tuesday. But if it's not, then we'll see. I might do a video on Tuesday about Sebastian Vettel and how his mistakes are costing him. I might do a video about that, but I might do that another time. So that's not for definite, but definitely tomorrow, in case you're wondering, race review, 4 PM British summertime and or UK time, however you want to say it. And 3 hours after, live on the channel again, we'll be doing a Q&A for 30 minutes. You guys ask me questions and I'll answer. And we'll, go through stuff we missed from the race. Any breaking news. We'll go through it. And then Tuesday and Wednesday, if there is no penalty here, then Tuesday and Wednesday, there will be no video, sadly, but on Thursday there will be a preview video for the Hungarian Grand Prix. And then the same for next weekend like we've done this weekend with all the live streams and content. So get ready for that. But just waiting for this decision. According to Nico Rosberg, Vettel threw away the win by pushing too hard. Bang on. Bang on, I have to agree there. He's pushing way too hard, I think. It's clear to see if you watch the replay. He went wide into the corner. And if you go wide into a corner, it's mostly because you're pushing too hard on the brakes. So, yeah. All penalties should be decided before the podium. Ridiculous otherwise. But this is the thing. You don't want the podium to be delayed so long like it was at Suzuka in 1989. Look at that situation where Senna won the race and then was summoned to the stewards, had a big falling out. If you watch the Senna movie, then you'll know what I'm talking about. But got summoned to the stewards and then the podium got completely changed and then what happened. So you don't want situations like that. So I think this is actually better. Because, we don't want to be waiting around to see who's going to be on the podium or not. So we just got to wait it out. Just got to wait it out. Was this the most controversial race of the season? And could it be remembered for years because of it? I wouldn't say this is the most controversial of the season. I think China was controversial. More controversial. And probably Baku as well. Definitely controversial if this happens, but if the penalty, you know, gets given, but we'll see. Should be getting up to the point in time where it's announced. We've been live for an hour and a half now. Not waiting for this penalty, by the way. We've been waiting for this penalty to be decided for about 40 minutes. What about Kimi when Kimi won a race but after the Pens Jordan got the win? That was basically a mistake by the FOM timing system. Fisichella crossed the line when the race was cut short first, and they gave it to Kimi for some reason because they went back a couple laps when that was wrong, so they gave it back to Jordan. This race has had loads of controversy. Right, it is now 6 PM where I am. 7 PM at Hockenheim, so we should have heard something by now, and we should hear something, I think, within the next 10 minutes. So within the next 10 minutes, we should hear something. Lots of people on Twitter are angry that it's not been decided yet because, again, it's been 2 hours since the race finished, and we still don't know. We still don't know what the decision is. Can't wait for Kimi to win the championship in 2018 and Chaz to eat his words. He's not going to win the championship. He's not. He's the number 2 at Ferrari, so even if he gets into a winning position if Vettel's behind, he'll be told strictly to move out of the way. Yeah, just waiting for... Yeah, it is crazy. They should be making a decision by now. It doesn't take 2 hours to decide something like this. It's either a penalty or it's not. Like, come on. If it's slam dunk in their opinion, then we should have known by now. Like, look how quickly they were with Max Verstappen in US. They stopped him getting on the podium at the last minute. Here, they've waited 2 hours after the podium. So, it is ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. But this is the FIA and their stewards. They are ridiculous. Yeah, still waiting. Kimi 25 seconds ahead of Vettel and tells him to move out of the way. Not like that. Not like that. If Vettel's like he was today, like a second behind, then they're going to do it. But they're going to do it when they can, like realistically, without getting too much hate. The hosts of Brazilian broadcast said there used to be a penalty for crossing the pit exit line, not the entry. There is a penalty for that, but there is... I'm not sure if there's actually a penalty for crossing the entry. I don't think I've ever seen one for crossing the entry of a pit lane. Well, Kimi in Baku, but I don't think that was massively clear, and I think was a bit harsh. Amazing drive by Hamilton. Very good job, Hamilton. That's what I call hammer time. Yep, indeed. A certain steward hates Verstappen. Yep, we all know his name, but let's not get into that. It would have to be under the guise of international sporting rules. Yeah, pretty much. Oh. Still, right. So apparently Hamilton is still with the stewards. He will go straight to a press briefing once he's finished. So we've still got to wait, guys. Still got to wait. Oh, Lord, give me strength. This is too long to wait. I have seen a penalty in FIA WEC. Let's see what F1 says. Of course, they have different rules, and the way the cars are, they have to have different rules. So it might not apply, but we'll see. They are taking forever. Charlie Bleep, wake up. That was a very funny team radio message that Webber did back in the day. What sort of penalty could he get? Reprimand, which is not a penalty, but, you know, goes on his, I think his his licence, 5-second penalty or 10-second penalty. Or if they're feeling very special today, then, I don't know, disqualify him or something. But if they do that, that's an absolute disgrace. But I don't think it will happen. You can end this if you want, Chaz. No, don't worry about it. I'll just stay on until this is done. It shouldn't be too much longer. And I don't want to be on... I don't want to be off and it happens. I want to be on when this happens. Because I want to talk about it straight away with you guys before I go and make my race review for the German Grand Prix, which I'll be doing straight away. It'd be very angry if a penalty took this long in a football match. Well, if you watched the World Cup, it took long enough to get a penalty took, didn't it? They probably gave him 5 seconds, but Hamilton is punching them. How many minutes does it take to decide a 5 or 10-second penalty? Normally, it takes a steward meeting with the driver will take like 10 to 15 minutes, I think. But there's something going on in that room. There's no doubt about it because it's taking a lot longer than it should do. So something is going on in that room which I don't think Hamilton fans will like. But who knows? They might just be taking their time over something which is nothing. It took less time to form the Earth. Today Vettel cried, let me pass Raikkonen. Yeah, but it made sense at the end of the day. Still waiting. Hamilton has been in the stewards, by the way, apparently for 45 minutes. So again, something is going on in that room which is not natural. Because if it was a reprimand, he would have been out by now and it would have been announced. Get Charlie. No, sorry, I'm just reading another tweet. 45 minutes in a stewards meeting over what could be a reprimand. Come on. Hamilton will be hashtag blessed when he gets a penalty. At least a 10-second penalty? Okay. They will be in that room getting drunk. Bottas when told to let Hamilton pass. Okay, Jim. No crying, whining, a real man. I understand that, but if you feel you're in the right, you need to make your point clear from the cockpit. They are probably congratulating him for 44 wins with a cake or something. Oh yeah, that's another thing. Car number 44. 44 wins for Mercedes. There you go. Maybe he's waiting for them to wake up after punching them. Why Bottas so much time spent in the pit? Well, I guess he's saying the pit lane. The team did not have tyres ready for him. They were not expecting him or Hamilton to pit. I think we're basically confused as to who was pitting. So, yeah. Is this team order 2? No, it's not a team order. Trust me, it's not a team order. It's just the team wasn't ready. It's very similar to Ricciardo in Monaco in 2016 and Webber at Monaco in 2011. The team just weren't expecting him to pit. Maybe Hamilton has the favours. Still no news. Still no news. Basically, what's going to happen is as soon as he leaves the stewards room, because I can guarantee you this is what the media is doing, they're all stood outside of the room waiting for him to come out. And as soon as he comes out, then it will all be plastered on Twitter that he's left the meeting. So once people are saying he's left the meeting, then we'll know probably 5 minutes later. Let's see again on Twitter if there is any new news. Hamilton has done his post-race press conference, but he has to do his media briefing, I think, which is just specifically for Mercedes and their drivers and their team bosses like they do on a Thursday. Hamilton / Elvis has left the building. I'm just constantly updating Twitter to see whether this is given or not. Still just looking. Lots of tweets from drivers and teams. Esteban Ocon very happy that he started 15th and finished 8th. Saying yes, from P15 to P8, awesome comeback. And yeah, it was. It was an awesome comeback. Haas saying it was damage limitation today for Haas because of the conditions. 55 minutes now, I know. 55 minutes to decide a simple penalty. Still no penalty, and I'm all out of mangoes. F1 is the best. I'm glad I found you, Chazza. My man down under Josh had to stop F1 watch-alongs for health reasons. Well, that's sad. So hopefully he's doing all right now. But yeah, hopefully I can keep you entertained with my watch-alongs for qualifying and the race and the streams in general. Thanks for the chat. Got to go. Okay. Bye. Hopefully you'll be around for the Q&A tomorrow. They're probably laughing at Gasly for full wets. Still funny, that is. Full wet tyres on a dry track. I think Kimi did that in Malaysia in 2009. He was on full wet tyres on a dry track, and it was dry for like 5 laps. And the team was just telling him, "No, stay out. It's going to rain. It's going to rain." And then when it did, his tyres were completely gone in terms of wear. Rip Charlie Whiting if he gives Lewis a penalty. I don't think it's up to him. I think he's the main steward, but it's just up to the actual, like, the other stewards in terms of how many of them think it's a penalty and how many of them don't. I don't think it's primarily up to Charlie Whiting. It's like a 3 or 4 person decision. Ocon's been underrated this season. Do you agree? I agree. I think he has gone severely under the radar, and someone needs to give him credit, and damn well I am going to, because he deserves credit. Chaz, don't you think the Ferrari mechanics have done an amazing job, especially with engineers, ERS tyres? Engines, yes. ERS, definitely. Tyres, not as good as last season, but still there, still good. Before the race begins, I wish Hamilton wins and Vettel goes out. Oh my god, I don't believe it was come true. I wish I bet money today. You would have won a lot of money if you did. Do you think Ocon will beat Perez in the standings? I do, even though Ocon is behind. I think Ocon will beat him. Any blackmailing in there, that's why it's taken a long time. Who knows? Who knows? They adapted to a new tread in a pretty short while, though. Yeah, that's good for them, but their tyre wear hasn't been as good this season. Right, so according to Charlie Whiting, the reason it's happening now is because they wanted to wait until after the race, after the rain, and everything had calmed down to look at it. Right. I can understand what he's meaning, but they can still look at it. Surely before that. Right. Yep, still no news. Oh my god, when is this going to end? Who do you think will switch seats and to where? I will do a video on that during the summer break. It will come out middle of the summer break or something like that. I'm going to do F1 2019 driver lineup predictions, and I'm looking forward to do it. And I think with my predictions, there won't be as much moving around as, say, someone other would predict or anyone else would predict. I don't think there's going to be much movement in the driver market. What motorsport do you prefer from most to least favourite? Well, FE or Formula E is my least favourite. I really don't like Formula E. The only way I can compare it with all the fan boost and all that crap, if I'm being honest. It's like comparing WWE wrestling to Olympic wrestling. F1 is Olympic wrestling because it's real, and FE is WWE wrestling. It's fake. It's fake, phony stuff, and I just don't like it. Really do not like it, and I could not stand it last weekend where all I had on my Twitter timeline was Formula E. It was absolute hell. You can stop the live stream and do stuff for yourself if you want. We won't mind. No, it's all right. I just want to wait for this decision. I'm not, I'm not angry at still being on. It's just anger at this decision taking so long. And if you look at Twitter, there's a lot more people than just me angry about this decision taking so long. FE is fake. Yep, I agree. I just don't like it. If Kimi is third in the championship and Ferrari win the championship, will he be at Ferrari in 2019? I don't know if it'll matter or not. I have a feeling that they're still going to put Leclerc in the car. It's only 12:15 PM for me, so, well, that's good for you, but we are approaching night time now in Europe, so this is not good. Toto's currently on an IV drip. That's brilliant. Oh, come on. This is a quote from Sebastian Vettel. You can't change what happened, but you can still change what will happen. That's basically him admitting he made the mistake. Ferrari is probably bribing the FIA. Bottas is sweating like crazy for his first win in 2018. Yeah, he is. I'm just expecting just a mountain of tweets to fill my Twitter feed, and then it'll be announced, surely. It's 1:16 AM here at Hong Kong. Great dedication there from you. Thank you for still being on the live stream. It will be 7 PM when he comes out. Sad for Marchioni though. Hopefully administration mix-ups don't give Ferrari any problems. I just want to say, from me, and I'm sure from everyone from the Chaz HD and just F1 community in general, please, Sergio Marchioni, get well soon. Whether you're Ferrari or Mercedes fanboy or whatever, we don't want to see people struggling with their health and have to resign from a position so glorious because of this. So from all of us, get well soon. Yeah, still waiting. Why is it taking this long to be investigated? We have no idea. We have absolutely no idea. Who will win in F2? I think it'll be George Russell. And by the way, I just want to mention, at a race weekend, so for example next weekend, when F2 and F3, or no, not F3, F2 and GP3 are on at the same weekend, in my build-up for the races, in my race watch-along, I will cover the F2 and GP3 results as well. So don't worry, I will be doing that as well in case you miss out on those, results. Yeah, people are not happy on Twitter. Not happy at all. Word in the Hockenheim Media Centre is that we'll know this. This is from a media journalist at Hockenheim. Word in the Hockenheim Media Centre is that we'll know Stewards' decision in a few minutes. Said that 10 minutes ago. Oh, come on. Will GP3 turn into F3? Yeah, I think it will. I think it's a natural decision to do that. Would you stay until 7 PM for results of penalty? I think if it gets to 7 PM, I will come off if it's been announced or not. So if it gets to 7, I'm coming off no matter what, because I'm not waiting this long for what could just be a reprimand, for crying out loud. So yeah, I'll be on till 7 if it goes that long, but if it happens in the next few minutes, then I'll might be coming off in 10 minutes, you don't know. There has to be some sort of major drama occurring in that room. Has to be, if it's taking this long. Hey guys, can Vettel can win the championship? Yeah, he can definitely win it. He can definitely win it, but today is a massive turning point, and it's not gonna help him. Just like what he did in France, not gonna help him. Now again, we just wait. We just wait. This does remind me of Spa in 2008, where it was decided after that Hamilton did not win the race because of, I think that day that was a BS penalty, because yes, you could argue you can't pass him straight away again, but the rule says let him through after cutting a corner and then you can race again. So yeah, it reminds me of Spa in 2008. Come on, we all know it's not a penalty. I hope it's not, because I don't want the race to be ruined by a penalty, and that's, I'm not a Hamilton fan, but I don't think it should be ruined by a penalty. It was a good race. Don't ruin it. Yeah, few minutes. The Spa 2008 penalty was legit. The degree was overkill. Vettel choked hard this race. It's still possible to mount a title challenge again. If you're talking about Vettel, then and Ferrari, then yeah, of course, they're still in the battle. Hamilton and Mercedes will have their issues. Don't worry about that. I want it to be a penalty to make it more dramatic. Yeah. Hamilton is out of the stewards, apparently, but still no decision. Now, that's not confirmed that he's out of the stewards, but apparently he is. So, let's just wait. Let's just wait. This is why I like GT racing. They give up penalties pretty much as they occur. This is the thing, though, in F1, because it's a media sport, media-driven sport, there's a lot of pressure on these decisions, so they have to make sure they get it right. What's your favourite motorsport apart from F1? After watching some of it, I'd have to say WEC. I think the World Endurance Championship is a underrated series, and I don't think sometimes it gets as much maybe attention as it deserves, but that's understandable. After 2 hours, Hamilton come out the FIA room and say, "Great party over there," enter his car and leaves, leaving the media confused. Still waiting. Still waiting. So, yeah, if you're new, what do you think about the race today? If you're new into the chat, to the people watching, what do you think of the race? What do you think of the race today? And also, again, if you want to join the Chazza HD F1 community over on Discord, the link to that is in the description, so go and click on that as well. If you want to follow me on Twitter to keep up to date with my channel in a better way than the YouTube notification system, which is poor, then follow me on Twitter. And don't forget to subscribe either on the bottom right of the screen. You can click subscribe there, click on my channel name, or click on the link on the channel. And also don't forget to like and comment on this video. I like the Pandas BMX Championship. When will you do a face reveal? Probably at the end of the year, at least. At least at the end of the year. Yeah, if you go on first few videos on my old channel, you'll see my face there. But for a face reveal, now, it won't come until probably earliest December when the season is over. Toto and Charlie in a cage match. Sorry. I was expecting a lot of rain. Got hyped when people started spinning. Got sad when Vettel crashed, and then it was over. Okay. So I was reading something else then on Twitter. If it rained like it did after the race 15 minutes earlier, could Gasly have won? He went back to dries though, that's the problem. Went back to dries. If he did the wets at the end, then yeah, maybe he could have. Still waiting. A few minutes have now become a few hours. We've been waiting, by the way, for an hour. We've been waiting an hour to find out. If this is a reprimand, I am going to be so angry that I've been waiting for an hour for nothing. This is a quote from Lewis Hamilton that's just come out. It's not going to be taken away from me. It will come out soon, the decision. It's been the most emotional day up and down. Okay. Right, Hamilton back from Stewards and says he will not lose his win. So Hamilton will not lose. So yeah, it's a reprimand. So Lewis Hamilton has been given a reprimand after being in a meeting for an hour. Oh, FIA, why? Why do you do this? Wait an hour for you to give him a reprimand. It's not, I agree it's not a penalty, but did they have to wait so long? Took an hour. An hour. Lewis Hamilton's behaviour has been rather embarrassing this season. Well, that was a surprise. Yep, they should use their time better. Definitely, because we shouldn't have to wait an hour for a decision like that. And on that note, I think, let me just check some tweets just to make sure. Right, yeah, it's not. It's a reprimand. It hasn't been confirmed, but he says it's not going to be took away from him. So I'm going to assume that it's a reprimand. But anyway, guys, after a very long wait, sorry if you're watching this recorded about the long wait, but because of how long the FIA ridiculously take to make a decision, we had to stay on and see what the decision was. Because if a penalty had happened, then obviously we got to talk about it and go through it. But he's been given a reprimand. He's keeping his race victory. He won the German Grand Prix from 14th on the grid. And that is it. Thank you guys for watching. And also, thank you guys so much. If you're a new subscriber, I'm up to 450. And already we are getting back towards 1,000, which is the aim, really. The first aim for the channel. So thank you guys so much. And hopefully in Hungary, it will grow even more. And I think it will, to be honest. And yeah, again, don't forget to join the Chaz HDF1 community on Discord. The link to that is in the description. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. A link to that is in the description. Do not forget to subscribe for more F1 content like this. Either go to the bottom right of the screen and subscribe there, or go into the description where there's a link to my channel, or click on my channel name. Like this video. Comment down below what you thought of the race. What did you think of the performances with drivers, teams? Did you think Hamilton should have got a penalty for what happened? What do you guys just think about this, I guess you could say, chaotic race? And just to let you guys know, tomorrow at 4 PM British Summer Time or UK time, there will be a video, a race review for Germany at 4 PM. And then 3 hours later at 7 PM, I will be doing a live Q&A for about 30 minutes, basically just answering you guys and your questions about anything really, something about the race or anything in general. So don't forget to come around for that. And I will see you all tomorrow evening.